don't tell me. How you had the nerve to tell him that you loved him?
Yes, Ruby.
And I can just imagine what he said. He probably couldn't stop laughing then.
Not only did he not laugh, but today I finally realized that as a woman, I'm someone quite special.
Listen, Maribel. You can fight and fight as much as you like, but Alejandro is not going to fall in love with you. Why don't you accept it once and for all for your sanity? That he's going to stay with me, huh?
And Hector?
I'm going to divorce him, because like I already warned you before, what Alejandro proposed to me in Ixtapa is the real plan. And I am going to marry him.
You're expecting the baby of Hector.
You're so naive. The baby I'm expecting isn't Hector's. It's Alejandro's.
Forgive me if I reacted that way to your news, Hector. Of course, I'm happy that you'll be a father. Life did not allow me to possess that gift. The gift of giving life to another being.
But you learned to be a mother with me. And now you're going to be a grandmother.
That is something that I really want. To see your daughters and your sons. I promise that I'm going to love them very much. And I'm also going to spoil them. I'm sure Ruby feels very happy right now. I hope that she values the blessing of being a mother.
Ruby's already pregnant?
That's right.
Well, congratulations.
Miss, here's the information that you want.
Thank you very much, Cayetano. This is precisely what I need now. Right here, it just shows that the shares under the name of Ruby were already sold previously.
That's right. Miss Navarro, I don't have any idea what your intentions are, but if ever Mrs. Ferrer has committed some misdeed of any kind, please count on me to find out. Because I wouldn't prefer any sort of injustice to be done.
It would seem that you don't like Ruby at all.
That's true. I really don't like her. But above all else, I wouldn't like some innocent party to be affected because of what she has done.
Don't you ever get tired of telling filthy lies? Say what you like, I don't believe you.
Rather, I think you don't want to believe me. That you don't want to accept the reality. Alejandro and I spent some very wonderful days at the beach. Do you understand that? Like on a honeymoon.
Ruby, can't you see you're still with Hector? And perhaps you yourself are not even certain who the father of your baby is.
Wait, of course I'm certain. It wasn't a long time ago I envied you. Now I'm sure that you would give anything you have to be in my place. To be expecting a baby with Alejandro.
No, Ruby. I don't know what envy is about.
Oh, yes.
I'm happy being the person I am now. And I'm going to be much happier when I'm with the man whom I love.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's not going to happen. Too bad, my friend. The love and the passion that I felt at the beach with Alejandro, my love, is what you won't ever experience. Least of all, with Alejandro. Goodbye. Ah, so you see that I'm a good friend after all. If you like, I'll give you back Hector so that you won't be lonesome, right? Bye.
How wonderful of you to come visit me during work.
So you can see how serious I am about everything that we talked about. Although I still haven't made a decision, I want to come and see how you were.
I'm glad because I've got something important to say. I went to see Arturo de la Fuente.
Luis, that's very good news.
It doesn't mean everything's been resolved, but it was the first step we could do. My father and Ruby encouraged me to make the move.
I'd rather you didn't even mention her.
Sophia, she's always treated me well. Besides, time has moved on.
Despite the time that has passed, she's keeping my brother miserable.
I don't think you've got anything to worry about now, because Ruby is expecting a baby with Hector.
Won't I be wearing the plaster anymore?
No, not anymore, Fernanda.
I'm going to tell my Aunt Ruby.
You love her very much, right?
I've got to give it to her. Ruby and the girl have gotten along well for the first time they met. And of course, since Ruby has given her gifts like toys. Yes, she even gave her a bike.
Ah. So did she really give you a bike? Well, listen to me. Now you will have to ride it very carefully until your arm is completely healed, okay?
Yes, because nowadays it turns out that even toys are very dangerous. Like Ruby, for example, while casually playing with Fernanda, gave herself a big bruise, a real big one. Her arm, like it's terrible, a huge bruise.
A bruise?
Yes, that was also on the day that you came to the tournament to visit Christina, do you remember?
What can I do for you, Elena?
First of all, I don't like you to think of me badly. I didn't feel easy, so I went and took the time to find out what it really was that happened with the shares of Rubi.
Elena, I really do prefer to consider that matter closed. I've checked my stocks and...
And what did the stock market say? Did it tell you that the shares were under your wife's name? But that was because someone bought them a second time. And you asked me to prove it to you, huh? There are the financial statements. Look at them, please.
Who authorized these? I never signed off on any of them.
If you don't care to notice the date you went to the stock market, precisely that day was when everything returned to normal, just like always. Hector, I'm sorry. But then the count, so it seems, has already bought the shares again for Rubi, right?
Why did Lucia do that? What interest does he have in my wife?
Well, you're going to have to find that out from him. Or from your wife. I only wanted to prove to you that what I've told you before was right.
I know that I misjudged you. Please forgive me. I was wrong. But I'm still finding it hard to believe that something like this could actually happen. I never gave my authorization to Rubi to sell our shares of the hotel.
Maybe you did give it to her, but you didn't realize
I never signed documents without reading them first.
I know, but you have blindly given your trust to Rubi.
And what are you trying to tell me?
Oh, please, Hector! The Count couldn't have possibly done this by himself.
Of course he could have done it! He could have easily forged my signature. But it doesn't matter how he did it. In any case, he did it without my consent, so therefore it's considered as fraud.
Hector, please open your eyes.
I'll do everything to get to the bottom of this, because I'm going to make Lucia explain this. And why on earth did he decide to buy my wife's shares and then put them under her name again?
Well, let's see. And then after that, you started to play with your bike. And then what happened?
Fernanda was going to collide with Rubi. And when Rubi stopped her, she hit herself with that thingamajig of the window. You know, that one. That's how she got the bruise.
And this bruise? Did Hector do that to you?
Tell me, what's the meaning of this?
Purchases and sales of shares on the stock market. And so what?
There's some activity with the shares of Rubi.
Get to the point, Hector. What do you think is wrong with the shares of your wife?
You forged my signature in order to get them.
Are you accusing me of committing fraud against you? Me?
I didn't sign any papers whatsoever. I didn't give my consent for that sale, you understand?
I think you are referring to this document, aren't you?
It's my signature.
Of course it's your signature, Hector. What do you take me for, huh? I was offended by your accusation, honestly. As a matter of fact, I should throw you out of here right now. But I understand very well that you're nervous and confused.
I didn't give my authorization for that sale.
I really think that you will have to talk to Rubi about that. I thought that you had been informed of all that she had been doing, because according to you, there are no secrets between the two of you.
Rubi gave this document to you?
Yes. But what's the problem with that? Your financial situation right now is better than before because the shares of the hotel went up, and in the end, Rubi still gets to keep her percentage.
The problem which you don't realize is that both shares for her and everything was done behind my back.
And we did it with the very same money that she received on selling them. It was your money, can't you see that? And Rubi did all of this just for you, Hector. She told me that you had problems with the construction company, is that right? All she wanted to do was to help you and nothing else.
Even so, it was the wrong thing to do. This is going to be the last time that you're going to touch the hotel shares of my wife without my permission. Do you understand me?
I took advantage of my lunch hour so we could take Fernanda together to see Alejandro, who'll check up her arm's condition.
Fernanda is already at the hospital. And so we are going to go for lunch together and all alone.
Did she go with Mrs. Lola?
I didn't want to go with her so I won't have to run into Marco.
Thank you, my love, but I feel very bad about my stupidity. Our daughter is going to need you during the consultation, perhaps.
Oh, you don't have to worry. Alejandro is very fond of her, and I assure you that he's treating her very well.
Well, yes, my love, but it's that Mrs. Lola...
Mrs. Lola has helped me to take care of her since she was a baby, and Fernanda has always felt at ease with her.
No, well, that is true.
Well, you should know, since they were going to the hospital, I gave Fernanda permission to be able to see Marco.
It's all right.
Father Michael!
Fernanda, what are you doing here, sweetheart? Are you all right?
Yes, and I want to make my doll better as well.
Oh, well, let's put a bandage on her. I've got one here in my drawer. Let me see.
Yes, I know what you're going to say to me, cute doctor. But don't you look so terrified, okay? This time we came with full permission from Christina.
Are you telling me the truth?
Yes, I swear I am, Marco. If you don't believe me, call her at the house.
Thank goodness that they're starting to resolve their problems.
Don't you believe that? The thing is that I think Christina has put Caetano in his place now so that he knows perfectly well the way things are. And so I'm going to continue bringing Fernanda to you for her to always cheer up your life. All right?
There's no doubt that things really happened for a reason, Father. It may be true that Ruby was not found guilty of the death of Sonia, but then again, thanks to that, because my brother and her split up.
Yes, it was just in time. What trouble that evil woman would have caused if she had married Alejandro while also expecting a baby with Hector.
What Ruby does is unbelievable. According to her, she was happy to be back with Alejandro. And now from what Luis has told me, she looked very happy with Hector, telling everybody in the world the news.
Yes, at least I'm really hoping that Alejandro will stop loving her for good this time.
Father, I'm so worried because even though I didn't mention anything to Luis, Alejandro and Ruby were actually together all that time in Ixtapa. What if the baby isn't Hector's, but it's Alejandro's?
Why are you here?
What's wrong?
This is the document that Lucia had, and it's indeed my signature.
Oh, well, this is the one that I've seen. Did Ruby know about this issue?
I don't know. I'm going to speak to her now.
Hector? Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be here.
Why do you say this?
Well, it's just because, for trying to prove to you that I wasn't lying, I did something and I'm sure the Count isn't going to forgive that. I don't regret having brought you these documents at all cost, because what I wanted was to recover your confidence in me.
I understand, Elena. Please forgive me for having doubted you. Don't say a word to the Count about what you did.
What? Why did you not tell the Count?
No. I led him to believe I realized everything on my own. You can't lose your job over this issue. So I'm asking you to keep this between us.
Thank you. This is going to be our secret now.
Thank you, Elena, for everything you've done. I'll see you.
What's going to happen for now?
Well, as for now, I'll demand an explanation from Ruby.
I know I have said terrible things. But you have a point. I can never hate you. All is forgiven, my love. And now more than ever, we finally have the chance to be very happy.
Really? Have all the misunderstandings been resolved? And the lies?
Yes, my love. Although I know that Hector told you that I'm expecting his baby, this little one, my love, is yours.
That's just a lie, Ruby. Your baby is Hector.
No, my love, I swear it is not. It's just that I had to make Hector believe that our baby is his because we received the result of the pregnancy test together.
I don't believe you, Ruby. What we did back at the beach was an illusion. And I was an idiot to believe that you had changed for good.
No, don't say that, I beg you. This baby is yours. And if I hid that from Hector, it was only because I was anxious. You know well how violent he can be. There was a time when he hurt me, don't you recall?
Yes, of course. It was that time when you had on your arm a big bruise.
Yes, my love. And as a matter of fact, you even took me yourself to file that complaint against him for abuse.
And what happened with that complaint, huh?
I don't know. You know that those legal things really take a while.
Or they don't get resolved at all. Like what will happen now. Because, Ruby, I know that you withdrew that complaint and you can't lie about that.
What a pleasure to see you. What is it that I can do for you?
It's just that I wanted to discuss with you the good news that I got from Hector.
You know about it?
You as well?
Yes.
We're going to be grandparents.
Lisa, I can't believe it's true.
Well, I'm really happy for our son.
Oh, I feel the same. Despite being separated, we're always going to have Hector in common. And now our grandchild.
That's right.
Ruby, I don't intend to believe a word that you tell me anymore. Did you ever realize that everything you say, everything that you are now, is all a lie?
No, that isn't true. It's true that I love you. And it's also true that this baby I carry inside of me is yours. It's our own.
That's a lie. Everything that you tell me is always going to be a lie.
You know that's not true.
You did it just now. You lied about the complaint against Hector. And you lied about the bruise that you say he gave you.
What are you talking about?
Yes, you know it, so stop pretending. Mrs. Lola explained it to me how you got that stupid bruise. Are you still denying it?
With or without the bruise, Hector mistreats me and he deserved to be reported. Do you understand?
So then why the hell did you withdraw it?
Because he was so kind and caring to me when you at that time sent me to jail.
It's true that was a big error, and I rushed into things. But can't you see that it was only a consequence of your own dirty lies?
I beg you, Alejandro. We shouldn't argue anymore. Let's leave all the bad things behind. Why don't we face Hector? Let's get married very soon and enjoy the fruits of our love, our very own child, you know?
Your own child, Ruby. I'll never believe you again. You told me that you had already confessed to Hector some time ago that you loved me. Can you sustain that in front of him? If I take you right now, would you do it? Would you tell Hector that the one you love is me? Answer me. Can we go together to see Hector? Come on, answer me. I knew it.
I never told Hector anything because he was jealous. You've seen him yourself, haven't you? But I love you. And I'm going to prove to you that this baby is yours.
You two were never separated at all. You went to bed with him before you went to bed with me.
You know that's not true.
Yes, it is true. That's why Hector is so happy about being a father. You're the same as always, Ruby. But today is the last time that I will ever talk to you.
I'm not going to leave you, Alejandro. Unless now that I'm expecting a baby that's yours.
I don't believe it's from me. But if it were mine, then I would be willing to face up to Hector and assume all my responsibilities as a father. But as for you, Ruby, I'd never marry you.
Luis came to see me.
Oh, how nice, Daddy. And what? Did you patch up things between you and him?
Well, not as much as I would have liked, but it was the first move. And I really hope that from now on he gets closer to me.
That will happen. Because when he realizes how lucky he is to be having a father like you, he's going to be very proud to be an important part of our family. Did you invite him to the wedding?
For me, it seemed too soon. You know what Luis is like, and I didn't want to pressure him and all.
Well, there's still time, you know.
Well, and you, sweetheart? Are you going to the wedding with Ernesto?
No, Daddy. Daddy, it's that I'm not in love with him. Just like I couldn't fall in love with Luis because I'm in love with...
With Alejandro.
You knew this?
I imagined it. I think you were meant for each other, and that's what I've always thought. And even though you haven't realized it, there's something more than friendship between you now.
Do you really think that we could maybe someday...
Of course I do, my love.
But how? He doesn't love me. More than 3 years have gone by.
The very same 3 long years that Elisa and I have been friends. And you see, we're going down the aisle. Sweetheart, you fight for what you yearn.
You can't do this to me. You told me that we were going to get married. My darling, we deserve some happiness. You gave me your promise. You said that you loved me until now.
Because I thought you already changed, Ruby. But everything you've done so far is a lie. Everything you're doing now is still a lie.
Well, if that's what you think, you can go to hell. I've done everything for you, Alejandro. Nobody has loved you more than me. Whether you like it or not, this child is yours. This child binds us together always. Always! Always!
You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot. This baby is yours. You're such an idiot. Why do I love you so much? Why do I love you so much? Damn you, Alejandro!
Tell me. Son, tell me the name of the person who caught you. Why didn't you report when you saw you?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think he's somebody important because he had a bodyguard. You could see that he was well-to-do.
But why didn't he report to you? What could he be planning to ask you in exchange?
I don't know. What I do know is that we've got to think of another way to raise money. Because I can't risk stealing more drugs at the hospital.
But you've got to do something fast. I can't stand being locked up in here any longer. Perhaps that man, the one who discovered you, could help me to get out.
The other option is that we have to accept help from Maribel. She told me her father had lawyers.
How dare you ask for their help!
But they don't need to know that they're helping you. And it would be a good way to get your revenge.
She would soon realize it, my son. Although, I would love to use the resources of the very same people who put me here to get me out. That way, Maribel and Alejandro would pay for what they did to me.
Only Alejandro, father. I want you to just leave her out of all this. I don't want you to hurt Maribel.
Why can't I be happy, Father? Why is it when I'm so close to having what I love, everything gets complicated?
Son, Sofia told me that Ruby is pregnant. Is the baby really yours?
No, Father. It's Hector's.
I don't like to say I told you so, but you see what kind of woman Ruby is. Sofia told me that Hector and Ruby looked extremely happy when they told Luis the good news.
I got my hopes up with Ruby. I wanted to have a baby with her. A baby, Father. Would have been my greatest joy. Especially after losing the baby I was going to have with Sonia. But now...
Alejandro, what's going to happen if Ruby insists on getting back with you?
No, Father. I assure you this time I'm never going to trust a woman like Ruby.
She came over to tell me that her baby isn't Hector's but Alejandro's, and it was right after I told him that I loved him.
Oh, then what happened? What did Alejandro say? How did he take it?
I don't know, Lorena. He didn't say anything concrete, but I couldn't stand it. I had to tell him. But what happens now will be up to him, right?
Well, I'm just so happy for you. Hey, it's about time that you took the plunge and told him what you felt. But what are you going to do about Ernesto? Because he seems very interested in you.
I'm going to tell him the truth, too. I can't allow him to continue having false hopes.
He said he'd take care of the baby, but that he would never marry me.
yourself,
If that's
Ruby.
the case, I'm not interested in this baby. I want Alejandro for me.
What are you thinking, darling? Get those bad thoughts out of your head. As soon as Alejandro proves the baby is his, everything will change. Because that's a bond. No one can ever break that.
I think you're right. I guess I just have to calm down. Alejandro has always loved me, and he still does. I only have to show him the results of the ultrasound. I've made an appointment for tomorrow afternoon, and as soon as I've got the results, he's going to know I didn't lie to him, that the baby is his.
And Hector? What do you plan to do with your husband without Alejandro?
Don't mention Hector to me. I'm going to let him continue to enjoy his paternity until I'm sure Alejandro is going to accept me.
And if in the worst case he doesn't?
Well, then I'll have to get rid of the baby. Did you think I was going to carry this burden?
Ruby, no!
Mother!
Oh, how is your little arm, my my sweetheart.
It's so much better now, and cute Marco was really so happy to see Fernanda. Only you should have seen the fear in his face when he saw us. You didn't think we had your permission.
Excuse me. Would you ladies like one?
No, thank you.
Oh, I can see that Mariquita does keep you very well nourished, huh? No, I don't want any, thank you. I prefer my tamales.
Well, between the two of us, I really do prefer the delicious food made by your soft, snow white, and impeccable hands. Come on.
Behave yourself. Aren't you ashamed of yourself and in front of the child even? Shame on you.
Sorry.
You two go ahead. I'm giving my beautiful girl a bath. I'll leave you on your own.
Ooh. Finally. Now we can talk quietly, just the two of us. Come on, sit down.
And then you saw Genaro.
Arturo, you and I came together at a time in our lives when both of us had a past to contend with. You've got 2 children, I've got Hector, and an ex-husband.
Also a bit of a nuisance, huh? We met this way and we accepted each other this way.
You know that I love Maribel very much. And like I promised you, I'm going to do my very best to get along with Luis. But don't get affected by my relationship with Genaro.
You know me, it isn't going to be easy for me. But for you and for Luis, I'm going to do it.
Please understand that Hector will be something that Genaro and I will have in common all our lives. Have you realized that you're marrying a grandmother?
But we're the most beautiful grandmother in the world. Come here, my grandmother.
Oh, careful, huh?
Hector, you're back home early?
Ruby, why did you sell our shares of the hotel without telling me? And when did I ever sign this document? Explain it to me! We promised that we'd never hide anything from each other, and now this? You deceived me, Ruby. You tricked me into signing this document. Why did you do this to me? Tell me!
I did it for you! We were in a crisis because of your financial problems, and you didn't want to accept help from anybody. I knew that the stress and pressure was killing you. That's why I did it.
That doesn't justify what you did. You committed fraud.
I don't care. I would have done whatever was necessary to be able to help you. But then you don't appreciate what I do.
What you did was take a tremendous risk.
Yes, but we came out ahead. And now I've got my shares back in my name.
You were just lucky. Next time, don't ever make any decisions about our shares without consulting me. Aren't you ashamed of what you did? The Count also believed in good faith that I signed that paper.
Well, it's a good thing that you have it now. Because that solves the problem, huh? Don't worry, I promise I'll never do anything like that again.
Maribel, you wanted to see me.
Yes, Ernesto. Take a seat, please.
After you, please.
Thank you.
Is something wrong?
Ernesto, I don't want to deceive you. You're very sweet to me and I like you very much, but I can't let you get your hopes up.
No, don't say that to me, Maribel. I really do like you.
Yes, I know. That's why it's so difficult for me to tell you this, but I prefer to be sincere. I can't have a relationship with you because I'm in love with another man.
I understand it was very hard for you to end things with her, but then it was all for the best.
I'm such an idiot. I should never have been with Ruby knowing that she was married.
The fact that they were separated didn't mean anything, Alejandro. The truth is, she's been deceiving her husband all this time.
Apart from that, I've got this dilemma. I spoke with Maribel and she confessed to me that she loved me.
So she finally told you.
You knew?
I'm really very sorry, Ernesto. I never really wanted to hurt you. I thought I could forget the man I loved, but then now I know it's useless.
Maribel, I'm a patient man. I could wait as long as you need me to, but don't ask me to give you up.
Please, Ernesto, don't insist.
Maribel, I love you. Tell me one thing. Does this man you deeply love, does he love you too?
I don't want to talk about that now, please.
Tell me, Maribel, is that man Alejandro Cardenas?
First of all, I want to tell you that I'm very happy with your work.
And I'm very grateful to you for this opportunity that you gave me.
How are you doing with the other project, the one with my godfather?
Well then, we made a lot of progress while I was at the beach looking for Sophia.
Have you gotten back together?
That's what I'd like. I took advantage while the family and Sophia were in Ixtapa and I went to see them.
Ixtapa? Luis, was Alejandro also with them?
Yes, of course, together with Mr. Ignacio and Mrs. Carla.
When was this, Luis?
About the same time you were there on your trip to the jungle.
I came as soon as you called me. I suppose you wanted to talk to me.
You betrayed me. Why did you have to give Hector the document I made him sign?
Hector discovered what we did with your shares, and I couldn't deny anything as obvious as the buying and the selling dates of the shares. He believed that I had forged his signature and he was accusing me of fraud.
Well, it doesn't matter. You still didn't keep your word.
I did what I could, Ruby. I even told your husband that you had done it for him to help him out with his financial problems. You mentioned that to me before.
Yes. That's a good thing I told him the same thing.
Don't you see how you and I are thinking alike? There seems to be an understanding and a connection between us.
Lucio, there's no connection at all because when you asked me to trust you, you let me down.
You're mistaken. Understand to deny it would have been worse because Hector would continue investigating. And we don't want another problem with the authorities, isn't that right? In exchange, this way we can consider the matter closed.
You've caused a problem with me and Hector.
Oh, I'm sure that with your angelica little face, you've already fixed that problem with him. And above all, because you're finally giving him what he's always longed for so much, right?
Are you sure of everything that you're saying?
Of course. In fact, when I arrived, they had been there for several days.
Did you see Rubi in Ixtapa?
No, why do you ask?
We'll talk later. I've gotta go.
Hector, what's wrong? Hector, is something wrong?
What's up, Ernesto? Is something bothering you?
Well, yes. Maribel has just told me that she doesn't want to go out with me anymore. And it hurts because I really love her.
I'm sorry. But if she doesn't love you, you've got to accept it.
It seems that Maribel's in love with somebody who doesn't even pay any attention to her. I don't understand how anybody could be so blind as not to notice her. But then, I'm not going to give up. I can be stubborn when I make up my mind to get something. Excuse me.
I don't know what you mean, and I don't think you and I have anything more to discuss.
I totally agree with you. It's such a pity because our game was very interesting, Ruby. Exciting. You would have been able to continue to learn a lot of things from me. But in your condition, I don't think it's a good idea.
You also know?
Ruby, I'm going to be honest with you. There aren't many things that I respect, but a child, to have descendants, is one of them.
So you're saying you're not going to continue to teach me to play the chess of life?
No. Definitely not, my dear. It's obvious that our relationship will have to change.
There never was any relationship between us.
Yes, there was. Both of us knew perfectly well that we were playing with a game of seduction, of power. But then the game stops being fun when there's a child who gets in the way.
I never fell for your game.
Yes. I know that the only obstacle between us is really your obsession, your obstinacy over this Alejandro.
It isn't obstinacy, it's love. And if I'm still obsessed with him, it's because I've never met another man that can compare with him.
It's wrong for you to compare. Each person is different and can give you different things.
I see how upset you are, competing with someone like Alejandro.
No. I only like to compete with whoever I think is truly an adversary. For the others, I simply move them around like chess pieces on a board. Goodbye, Ruby.
What took you so long, Mrs. Lola? Don't tell me you were saying goodbye all this time to your Mr. Onesimo.
Well, yes. That man thinks I've got nothing more important to do. He just keeps on talking.
Well, I think it's because he really likes you.
Oh, that's what he says to me, but it's clear to me that he's got a pair of roving eyes. Well, Mariquita is also around him to flirt with.
I think you're really just jealous.
Me? Oh, you must be kidding. I'm sure I can get someone a lot better than that Onésimo the Great One.
Mrs. Lola, I remember once you told me that it wasn't good to be on your own, right? You would have liked it better if you had a partner.
But I want someone who's really worth the while.
Oh, he seems like a good man to me. So why don't you take him seriously? Wouldn't you like to get married?
Me get married? Oh, no.
Yes, you wouldn't want to waste your time waiting for your Prince Charming and miss this obvious chance.
Maribel, I saw Ernesto, and he said you decided not to go out with him anymore.
What for if... Well, since you know what my feelings are.
Does Ernesto know that you're in love with me?
He asked me and I wanted to be honest with him.
Maribel, I don't want to lose you.
As a friend?
Look, I don't want to be selfish, but I know it would hurt me very much to be apart from you.
Me too. But then knowing our friendship would be at risk, I still decided to speak, because it was very important to me. Whatever the consequences, I knew I had to do it.
It's that it doesn't seem right because we've been the best of friends for so long, and now I swear I don't know how to talk to you, how to treat you, how to look at you. I feel very, very confused.
I know what you're going through. So for now, perhaps it's best to put some distance
No,
between us.
no. That's not what I want. Maribel, I don't see you the same way now. From the time we talked, I've been thinking and...
And what? What have you been thinking?
Well, do you know that I realized then that apart from my feelings for you as my best friend, it's that I don't know how to put it. You move me. You do understand me, right?
Yes.
Darling! Congratulate me. Oh, I was such a success at the fashion show. I've been invited to another, and it's also the beach. It's also the beach. It's also the beach.
I don't think I'll be able to go with you this time.
Oh. Don't worry, I understand. Can you believe it's hard for me to leave? I'm curious to find out how this mother urine will turn out.
For the moment, I'll have to stay with Hector. Alejandro rejected me and Lucio closed the doors on me because he wasn't pleased at all that I'm expecting a baby.
Oh, what a pity. He was going to make you a millionaire, he promised you.
Yes, Loretto, but I don't want to have to pay back any more than I already have by staying all this time with Hector.
Well, even though you complain about it, I'm sure you'd pay it back again. Ruby, I know your ambition. It's enormous. Now you've got the status you wanted, but later if you want more
I'm not going to think of that now. The first thing is to fix things with Alejandro, because if I can't even manage that, then I don't want to be a single mother.
But you're not a single woman, you've got Hector.
You know what I'm referring to.
Ruby, were you really serious when you said that if you didn't get back with Alejandro, you didn't want to have this baby?
A baby under these conditions is nothing more than a burden to me. I told you that.
But then, darling, a baby. Maybe you should think things over.
I always do. And I assure you, I'm not going to risk losing Hector the money and the position I've got by his side. Until I'm sure of Alejandro.
This is the Ruby I admire. But if you don't have that baby, that Hector's longed for so
I'm
much...
so sick of Hector. But for now, I'll just have to stay with him. Because being poor is not what I will ever be again.
Alejandro, I kept quiet about what I felt for you because I know how much you love Ruby. I'm aware of the fact that in spite of everything, you haven't forgotten her.
No, but I'm really disappointed in her. So disillusioned that I'm finally seeing Ruby in a totally different light.
Aren't you planning to see her anymore?
To be honest, I haven't decided. Perhaps I could never be happy married to a woman like Ruby. She lives by lying and cheating.
Alejandro, There's something that's very delicate. I think it's another of her lies, but I can't keep it from you.
What?
Ruby told me that the baby she's expecting wasn't Hector's. She says the baby is yours.
Yes, Maribel, she also told me that. But if that were true, then she would have agreed for us to face and talk to Hector together, but she didn't. You can cheat, you can lie, you can do anything you like. But Maribel, you don't fool around with a baby. Ruby doesn't exist for me.
I'm glad you finally feel this way at last. I'm honestly not saying this for what I feel, but for you. For your peace of mind.
I want to think that from now on there can be another life for me. I don't know, maybe a different future. But the only thing that's clear to me at this moment is what I told you. I can't imagine being away from you.
Nothing would make me happier than to be with you, Alejandro. But I don't want you to make any hasty decisions. You've got to straighten out your thoughts, your feelings, and don't worry about me. Whatever happens, I also want to continue being close to you.
Oh, Maribel. You see what I mean? It's just that I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, you can hug me.
Ruby! Ruby!
What's wrong, my love?
That's exactly what I want to know, and you're going to tell me the truth. What really happened between you and Alejandro at the beach?